I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys a second to come in. Renette, Mark, I sent y'all the link, and Devin as well. I would love to hear you guys take on this. Um, I'll just give you guys a chance to come in. But the subject today is childless. Are men suspect when they're childless? The name of the. Okay, hold on just a second. Here we go. I got Mark coming in.
What's good? Can you hear me?
What's good, Mark? Yeah, exactly. I can hear you now, bro. What's good? Welcome to JB Speakeasy. It's been a while, but how you doing, bro?
Doing good, man.
Man, it's good to hear from you, brother. And I heard you got your message that you coming out here this week, right?
Next weekend.
Next weekend, okay, but it's
Yeah.
most definitely you got to pull up. You got to pull up. Thank you for your time. But bro, I have you been watching the show up until now, or I've seen people on Instagram.
Yeah, I just popped in and just seen what your subject was about. So I was just gonna just give like a quick couple sentences and then just let you go on.
Okay, for sure, for sure. What's good, Renee? How you doing, baby?
Hey, hi guys.
Okay, yeah, what's good? Hey, baby, right now I'm gonna get to Mark real fast. I want to see what he
Nothing.
has to say.
Chilling.
Oh, okay, for sure. Mark, well, the title right now is called Childless, and then the description is: Are men sus when they're childless? So my question is, do you have children right now, Brian? I don't think you do. Did you? Do you
No,
have
I
children?
don't.
Okay, good. I'm glad you're on here because you were on the side of the fence with me. Right now, bro, there's a podcast where there's these ladies that were talking, and they said that men without children are suspect. Meaning, I know you know what it means. Meaning they're sassy or gay or something like that. Then
Right.
they said their dick doesn't work and that no woman wants them. Do you agree with any of their sentiments?
Not at all. Not at all. Because
Okay.
that that doesn't define any man or any person. You know,
That's what I said. Go.
that's that just doesn't make sense. Like, how is that? How are you just defining somebody as a whole person just because they don't have something that everybody else has? Because we all know, most of us have a friend or know somebody that's had a kid way younger than they were ready for, and and
Absolutely.
and 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 they wish that they would have waited. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So and in the
I
whole
agree.
fact and the whole fact of it is, if you're
I
having
would
a kid,
say,
oh,
honestly,
sorry,
I wish I kind of waited until I had, I was married. I have two kids and I am a single mom,
yeah,
even though I do co-parent, but I consider myself a single mom, and it's very hard raising children in one home by yourself without your partner there 24/7 to help you with the children.
right.
So,
Right, right.
yeah, I would say, yeah, I don't think that it's weird that some men are not having kids at that age. Actually, I feel like it's very rare to see men at that age at 30 and up that don't have kids.
Right. And I like to comment about something you both said. I'm gonna start off with Mark since he started first. I agree with you 100%, bro. That doesn't make any sense that you would try to correlate a sexual lifestyle to the ability to reproduce. Because at the end of the day, I was the type of dude I used to use protection, or I don't like to brag, but pull-out game was always on point. I don't like to say it like that, but just so we can give these options that defeat the logic of you're gay because you don't have children. Now, to Renette, to your point, and like I said, I always told you this, baby. You know you're my girl. I always respected that you did your thing as a mother. I always respected that. But just the whole idea of men without kids, us being gay, what do you think about that? For us to be attracted to men secretly because we don't have children. Do you believe in that rhetoric?
I believe that's ridiculous, honestly.
Absolutely.
I don't feel like just because you don't have kids means you're gay. No, I mean you just might not be ready for children. There's a lot of men out here that are just like you said earlier, slinging their thing, and they're not ready for kids. That doesn't mean they're gay. They just don't want to settle down and do that yet.
Absolutely. You would agree that that would be a responsible decision, wouldn't you?
I mean, yeah, it is a responsible decision, but it's even more responsible. I feel, like you said earlier, for a man to actually say, "I'm waiting until I'm married to actually do that because I want to provide for my kids and I want to have a
Absolutely.
family."
Absolutely. And that's
You
actually
don't
my
see
point
that.
of view. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm saying you don't see that either in today's society. Men actually saying that.
Right. And here's the thing. There's a lot of, and that's because just like there's irresponsible women, there's also irresponsible men. So a lot of men probably wouldn't say that, but I think we generally understand as men what our responsibility is. Even though there's a lot of men who fall short of that responsibility, in the back of their mind, because God put it in us, is that we know we're supposed to take care of that kid. You get what I'm saying? And as a man without children, that's supposed to be in our heads. Not necessarily every time we have sex, but just in the whole when we're dealing with a woman, that do I really want to be with this woman? Because at the end of the day, you know, when you have children with somebody, even if you're not with them, you have to interact with them. And I don't want to interact with a person that I can't get along with, or interact with a person that can jeopardize my relationship with my kids. See, these are things that people should think about before having kids, because it's going to come into reality when you do have
That is
kids.
true because things go south after you have children.
Yeah.
I
Right,
mean,
for many different reasons. Yeah. And Mark, what do you think about it? I'm gonna leave you out of this, bro. What do you think about that? That it is responsible to actually be like, well, I can't support a kid, so it's worth wearing this condom or mastering the art of pullout.
Yeah, and
Or, you know,
that's the whole idea of it, is that when you have a kid, you know, because it's the difference between just having a kid randomly that wasn't planned. It's the difference between planning to have a kid. People that plan to have a kid are 9 times out of 10, they don't regret it, or they don't feel any kind of malice towards it, because they planned to have this kid, so they were ready.
hmm
But then also, it's funny how they make how this video is making this statement, but they didn't say anything about if a girl over 30 doesn't have kids, she's lesbian.
I
right,
was getting ready to,
exactly.
I was getting ready to say that. I was getting ready to say that because I have a few friends that are older, like my age. I'm in my late 30s, and they don't have children, and they very much do love men, and they're not gay. So why is it? I don't feel like it's fair for people to say that a man in his 30s, if he doesn't have children, he's gay. That's not okay because it should be the same for women then too. It should
Exactly.
be all the way forward.
And you see what type of rabbit hole this opens when people have conversations like this and they don't think about what they're saying. Because I don't know about you guys, but on social network, I see a lot of degenerate rhetoric that I completely disagree with. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the sassy list. Mark, I don't know if you heard about the sassy list, but it was this thing on Facebook. Baby, we talked about it, where there was a list where they were saying things that made women sassy, like a man cooking is sassy, or if he drinks with a straw. Like me personally, I like Starbucks. I have no interest in men, but I like Starbucks. That
Right,
makes me homosexual because I drink. Because how is she supposed to drink Starbucks? You're supposed to just
right,
be like a
right,
kid and just gobble it down.
No,
No, nigga.
right.
I honestly think that's the new generation. Like we
Absolutely, yeah.
said when we were talking before the show, I think that's the new generation because they have not grown up and saw that in the home. Um,
Mhm.
a lot of them probably come from broken homes or their parents are really young, probably like in their late 30s,
Yeah. Yep.
never really showed them certain things, so they don't know the aspect of. For me, I find that very, very sexy that a man and resourceful and responsible that a man can cook because that means we can share the load. Or sometimes I might not want to cook, or maybe you might, like I told you the other day, you might cook better than me in a certain dish. Why not
Right.
get in there and do it?
Right. And I agree with you 100%, which is why I disagree with this logic that if a man either does something that easy, because I know this goes back to the traditional gender roles, but at the end of the day, those shouldn't determine your sexuality because of you not doing that. You get what I'm saying? And I agree
Yeah,
with you, baby. And it goes back to the upbringing thing. I spoke on that in the beginning. Now, I have a documentary out, and Mark, I forgot to tell you this. I have a documentary out called "Exposing the Gynocracy." It'll be out next week. I'm where I'm speaking about the importance of fathers. I know we spoke on this before. Do
yeah,
you let me ask both of you guys this. In giving with situations like this, to where like how Renette said this mentality can breed from having a broken home, don't you think that a either two-parent home or a home where even if the parents aren't in the home but the parents are actively involved can eliminate certain mentalities like this?
yeah.
Absolutely. What about you, Renette?
Well, I'm seeing it now because I am a product of a broken home.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I did see things that when my stepfather came in our life,
Absolutely.
and I
Yeah.
I did see a glimpse of, parenting, but still, I still feel like it still affected me as I got older with my decisions. So yes, I do agree that a two-parent home is probably better than a one. Especially yeah, a two-parent home is better than just a single-parent home because you see the outcome of people. You see how
Absolutely, I
they
love
grow
that
up,
word you used.
have
But go ahead.
values, how they have different values, in life. And like you said, I feel like a product of your value of basically you not wanting to have children until you're married is because of what you saw as your home. You come from a two-parent home. You come
Absolutely,
from a married family. And I'm sure they probably didn't have you until they were married, you know?
absolutely, absolutely.
So I just think it falls back on what we have grown up to believe or what we've grown up to see and now is what we believe
Now, what if I were to tell both of you guys because my
in
documentary,
that sense.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
I didn't say nothing.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Mm.
Okay, yeah. So in my documentary, I'm talking a lot about
Okay?
the black family dynamic, and it speaks on things like this. And I always give a disclosure
Josh?
that I'm sorry. Go ahead. Oh, okay, I thought you said something. But my documentary is going to be covering things like this because I think I've had conversation with both of you guys separately where I talked about somehow we'll get on the subject about families, and I always say that fathers are very important, and a lot
Yeah,
of times people forget that because what it is with women and men is women bring the tangibles to teach their kids, like the things like how to be presentable and how to live life and things like that. But fathers bring the intangibles, meaning that things you can't see but they're important,
yeah,
especially at a certain point, like a woman being able to decide what type of man she is. A lot of women without fathers or fatherly guidance usually have, not all, but have bad decisions in men because there was no man to teach them. Look, get you a man that respects you at all times, that does this and that and the third. You feel me? And because of this lack of that, it ends up with this mentality like how these women had. I don't know their life, but it seems like maybe they didn't have a father because a father would tell them to respect their womb until they meet the man that's going to treat them with 100% respect. Have that man's baby. Just don't have a baby because it's 30. Try to find a good man before you're 30. I know, do your little nonsense in your early 20s, but make sure you protect yourself. There's plan Bs, there's this and that. Or men, a father might tell, here, I'll give you your first condom. Make sure you wrap, that's the mean, make sure you wrap it up so that you don't have these situations. Do you
right.
think that maybe mentalities are formed? Oh, well, we already said yes because of how we're brought up, but should we not start pushing in the black community, especially, that fathers are very important?
Yeah,
Well,
very,
yeah,
because that's one of the biggest asterisks that's attached to black people when you think
Yep.
about them.
Hmm.
yeah, we totally need to push that because we are taught, I mean, especially women are taught if the man isn't there, then you still need to do everything on your own. And
Right.
that is true to an extent, but I can't teach my son how to be a man. That's something
Absolutely.
I cannot do. His father is doing that,
Absolutely.
but still, my son, what I'm experiencing with him is he'll learn something from me and then he'll go back to his dad, what I've taught him, and then his dad will just switch everything up with what I've taught him.
Oh,
And says, no, it needs to be done this way. And so that is the conflict of having a child and that is growing up in two different homes
right.
versus being
Absolutely.
in, you know,
And can I ask you this, Renette? Because of women that talk, not just women, but anybody who thinks with the mentality of these women, don't you think that that mentality creates the very, I like the word you use, outcomes that we see, not just using your situation, but anybody with a situation where there's kids in two different homes and things like that? Don't you think that mentalities like the one that these women spoke before create that type of environment
I
or
believe
movement?
those women probably that are talking, they probably did not grow up with a father in their home. It
I
sounds
agree with
like
that.
it.
Mhm.
It sounds like it. It sounds like they got their information from a broken parent.
Right. Because
That's
a
all.
father would never tell his son, have a kid by 30 just for the sake of you turning 30. He'll say, go your whole life without kids until you meet a woman that you feel like, y'all can build something with. Because my
Right.
thing is this, Renette, is yes, we were all like a two-parent home, like my household, but see, that goes back to a certain generation. Remember, we're talking about millennials, zillennials, baby boomers. See, I was raised by two baby boomers who believed in